Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack the absolutely fascinating chemistry, thermodynamics, and hardcore engineering hiding inside your everyday snack packet. I mean, have you ever actually stopped to wonder what goes into producing that perfect crunch, or that mouth-watering aroma and exact texture you get when you rip open your favorite bag of chips? Well, it is way more than just cooking. Behind every single packet is this highly sophisticated world of food science, oil technology, and intense quality control. Okay, let's dive right into this. How on earth does a raw, earthy potato transform into a perfectly crispy golden snack? We kind of take it for granted, right? But this journey from the farm to the bag is actually a genuine food science mystery, and it requires some incredibly precise execution at every single step along the way. So, phase one, the foundation. From farm to slicer. The illusion here is that a potato chip is just this beautifully simple thing, but getting to that simplicity, it actually requires intense agricultural precision. You can't just grab any random potato off the farm. Processors are looking for highly specific traits. If the dry matter isn't exactly right or the sugar levels are even slightly off, it fundamentally alters the final color, crispiness, and texture of the snack. A genuinely great chip can only ever come from a specifically cultivated processing potato. All right, so once the right potatoes are selected, they hit the factory floor. They're thoroughly cleaned to get rid of any soil and then sliced. And why is uniform slicing so absolutely critical? Well, because the thickness of that one single slice dictates literally everything else. The cooking time, how the moisture gets removed, and ultimately the crunch. After they're sliced, they go through this critical starch washing step. You can think of it as a final bath that removes surface starch so they don't excessively stick together. It guarantees a beautiful, clean appearance before they ever even hit the heat. Moving on to phase two, the transformation. Heat, mass, and magic. This right here is the absolute most critical stage of the entire process. It's wild to think about the stark contrast between a potato before and after frying. Before hitting the hot oil, it's high in moisture, it's starchy, and it's super pale. But after, it's got remarkably low moisture, a highly crispy texture, and that signature golden brown color we all love. What you're actually witnessing is simultaneous heat and mass transfer. As the hot oil transfers heat into the potato, the water inside rapidly evaporates, basically violently escaping as steam. Now, what's really interesting about this is the science behind that incredible roasted flavor and golden color. It's called the Maillard reaction. This happens when reducing sugars and amino compounds react under intense heat. And it's not just one simple change. It's a massive, complex cascade of chemical reactions that produces literally hundreds of distinct flavor and aroma compounds. This exact reaction is the reason a crispy chip smells and tastes so completely different from a raw potato. So if you take away just one thing here, it's this. Crispiness ultimately equals strict moisture control. Getting the final moisture level right inside the chip structure is this incredible balancing act. If too much moisture stays in there, the chip gets soft and stale tasting right out of the fryer. Nobody wants that. But if you overprocess it, the chip becomes way too dark and develops these bitter, undesirable flavors. So exact time and temperature control are absolutely essential to hit that perfect sweet spot. And of course, we can't talk about frying without talking about the oil itself. The frying oil is a super critical ingredient. It profoundly influences the final flavor, the color, the texture, and even the shelf life of the chips. The tricky part is, during repeated heating, oils can undergo chemical changes, like oxidation. Because of this, manufacturers have to constantly monitor their frying conditions. Strict temperature management, rapid oil turnover, and continuous filtration are non-negotiable if you want to maintain consistent, high-quality snacks day in and day out. Which brings us to phase three, flavor and variety, seasoning adhesion and extrusion. This is where the snack industry goes way beyond just the basic potato. Actually getting the flavor onto the chip? That's a science in its own right. Food technologists meticulously engineer these seasoning systems. Whether you're craving barbecue, cheese, chili, or just classic salt, they have to carefully calculate particle size, how well the seasoning adheres to a notoriously irregular chip surface, the flavor intensity, moisture levels, and even the stability of the blend itself. The ultimate goal is a perfectly even distribution across every single chip in the bag. Now, stepping away from potatoes for a second, we have this fascinating piece of industrial engineering called extrusion. This is when a mixture, usually some kind of cereal flour or starch, is forced through a die under highly controlled pressure, temperature, and moisture. When that material exits the die, the sudden dramatic change in pressure causes it to rapidly expand. That's what creates that incredibly light, airy, and porous texture we crave in so many of our favorite snacks. And this brilliantly illustrates how just a single process, like extrusion, opens the door to a massive variety of foods. The wider world of snacks includes extruded corn puffs, crackers, popcorn, cereal-based products, and an entire array of baked snacks and nuts. The incredible diversity of the modern snack aisle basically owes its existence to these specialized processing technologies. All right, Phase 4, perfecting and protecting, advanced packaging and quality control. Let's zoom out a bit from the microscopic food chemistry to the chemical defense mechanisms they use to preserve the final product. A snack packet is not just a plastic bag. It's practically high-tech chemical armor designed to fight two massive threats, moisture and oxygen. Moisture leads to sogginess and a total loss of that hard-won crispness, which they solve by using specialized barrier packaging. Oxygen, on the other hand, causes oxidation and ruins the flavor. The solution for that? Manufacturers actually use gas flushing. They fill the sealed packets with a gas, like nitrogen, to flush out the oxygen and meticulously protect the product inside. It's pretty genius. But before these fully armed packets ever reach you, the consumer, they undergo some seriously rigorous quality control testing. Food scientists are continuously evaluating moisture, texture, color, oil quality, seasoning distribution, microbial safety, and packaging performance. Manufacturers test all these parameters batch after batch because even a microscopic shift in raw materials or factory conditions can drastically alter the final product. When it comes to snacks, consistency is absolutely everything. Finally, Phase 5, the bigger picture, Pakistan's snack landscape and the future. Shifting our focus to the macro level for a moment, Pakistan boasts a really rapidly growing market for packaged convenience foods. And what's amazing is how this industry creates a vast interconnected ecosystem. It directly links local agriculture and potato farms to advanced processing, innovative packaging, distribution, and ultimately retail. This thriving local landscape creates a ton of opportunities for innovation and the use of locally sourced ingredients on a massive, massive scale. And the industry is constantly evolving. Looking ahead, consumer interest is driving a huge push toward healthier formulations. We're talking baked and reduced oil products, the integration of whole grain and functional ingredients, and definitely a shift towards sustainable, smart packaging. The ultimate challenge for future food scientists is utilizing all these innovations to create healthier options without ever sacrificing that taste and texture that we all demand. So, I'm going to leave you with this thought to wrap up our explainer. From the careful agricultural selection of a potato, through the thermal dynamics of frying, all the way to that nitrogen-flushed barrier packaging, there is just immense complexity hiding inside a simple bag of chips. So the next time you pop open a bag and hear that perfect crunch, are you just tasting a snack, or are you tasting a